Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. Let's jump into astrology and depicting astrology with the cards of the month of November. We are in November 2024 and I'm going to take a look through the tropical astrology lens, and then at the end also, if somebody's interested in True Sidereal, real sky astrology, the visual sky astrology. So tropically we started this month with the new moon in Scorpio, and in November we are fully in the season of Scorpio, and Scorpio of course is the card of depth, of transformation. It deals with death, it deals with sexuality, it deals with empowerment and of connecting to our true power of transformation, that we have the power to change things about our own lives, about our own character. So this new moon in the zodiac sign, tropical zodiac sign of Scorpio, was on the 1st of November. We started it moving into also in my country Day of the Dead, and all the celebrations connected to remembrance of our ancestry, of where we came from. And Scorpio is fixed water, is deep, you know, it's connected to the depth of emotions, often to karmic things, to things that we bring with us and that are deeply seated in our psyche or in our bodies. It's no coincidence that Scorpio is in opposition to Taurus, that rules body, that rules earth element. So during this new moon in Scorpio, you may have experienced, you know, a lot of stirring of emotions, and it's fascinating, you know, to see that during this month of Scorpio, we also have Mars in opposition to Pluto. Both of these planets they rule Scorpio. So traditional ruler of Scorpio before Pluto was discovered was Mars, and right now we in tropical astrology connect the planet Pluto, small planet, asteroid maybe, you know, they try to demote it, but planet of Pluto to Scorpio. It may be small, but it rules over power, you know, think of atomic bomb and plutonium. So when both of the rulers of Scorpio are in opposition, Mars being a personal planet and Pluto ruling generational movements, you know, there is this kind of sense of like personal ego, personal agenda versus big changes that are happening and are unstoppable in some way. So there may be frustration, there may be need to readjust, to you know, go with the flow of things, and in some sense like change is unstoppable. On the 15th of November, we are tropically moving into a full moon, and the full moon is so the sun is in Scorpio and it sheds its light onto the moon, and that moon is in Taurus. So we have the sun in the sign of Scorpio. This is the Real Sky Astrology Tarot by Julie Cuccia Watts. She connected this to temperance, where, you know, Scorpio is a very healing sign, and having sun in the sign, you need to shine and bring light into dark spots. It could be in your own life, but Scorpios are natural psychologists, you know, they know and have a sixth sense about undercurrents of human psyche. We call them in astrology detectives of the zodiac. You know, there's like good developed bullshit detector with Scorpios. So on November 15th, we have full moon in the sign of Taurus in opposition to Sun in Scorpio. This full moon will be quite a loony because it's also conjoining, it's on 24 degrees Taurus. On 25 degrees Taurus, we have in tropical astrology Uranus, and Algol is kind of projecting onto 26 degrees of Taurus. So that story of that suppressed feminine, on unfair treatment, on, you know, things that like we fully don't agree with, and always the perpetrator kind of wins. It's highlighted and it's really brought up to its fullness with this full moon in November, on November 15th. Usually the full moon in the sign of Taurus, which is a fixed earth, you know, the lover of pleasure, the lover of sensuality, good smells, good food, good touch, would really encourage us to celebrate the moment we are in, celebrate the now, celebrate the present. But I think with Uranus and Algol being activated during this full moon, there might be also a lot of shocking information, or there might be some unexpected changes, because Uranus moving through the sign of Taurus brings and shakes that solid earth. And there might be some volcanic eruptions, there might be something unexpected that arrives. And because Taurus rules vocal cords, it might also have to do with some interesting news or something that, unexpected news. On November 2nd, Mercury, the planet of thinking and communication, that also is moving retrograde at the end of this month. But right now, on November 2nd, Mercury moved into the tropical sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, of course, it's a sign of openness, of studies, of learning, of philosophy of life. So during this season of Scorpio, we might feel really inspired to learn and to expand our knowledge. And as I said, Mercury will be retrograding on 22 degrees Sagittarius on 26th of November, and it will be retrograding for 15 days, and it will move back. It will move back later. What did I say? Yeah, it will move back into, it will go retrograde till 6 degrees of Sagittarius, and then starts moving forward after those 15 days. So on December 15th, it starts moving forward again. But with Mercury retrograding, there is all this mythology that things go so wrong. But I really love this period, especially for someone who has Mercury in Sagittarius in tropical astrology. It really lets me release some steam. Any retrograding period, it's really good for rethinking, rechanging, recharging, readjusting, and rescheduling, etc., etc. So just bear in mind that when Mercury goes retrograde, it is a good time to revisit things and to recheck within yourself what's important, what do I need to communicate, where do I talk too much, where do I need to listen more, and so on. It's much more of an inward type of energy, whereas Mercury usually is the one that jumps onto every flower, wants to go everywhere and know everything. So you might want to pull back a little bit from November 26th until December 15th for these 15 days, so just over 2 weeks, to see what's truly important and listen. So on November 4th, Mars enters the sign of Leo in tropical astrology, and it's not going to go very far. I think it gets up to 6 degrees of Leo, and on the 6th of December it also will go retrograde. So we will have Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograding in the sign of Leo. It will go back into Cancer. It will have another opposition to Pluto. So we have that Mars-Pluto opposition really leading us until the end of the year, and even at the beginning of in January as well. And when we have these two powerful planets in opposition, there is a huge need for balance and for knowing how to deal with big currents, and knowing what's our personal agenda and how the collective agenda is actually or may influence it. What's interesting is that you should be checking what houses Capricorn and Cancer are in, or what houses, because right now Mars is in Cancer and Pluto is still at the end of Capricorn, and what houses the 0 degrees Aquarius and 0 degrees Leo are in, because that's how this opposition will be evolving. And these places just try to keep the balance as much as possible, or see what needs to be empowered. When can you maybe get the power of Pluto, the plutonium, the atomic, and like pour it into your personal Mars. So make it more active, you know, be more empowered in your action and not just in thinking. This is also a way to work with this energy. On November 19th, Pluto will enter Aquarius for good in tropical astrology. So goodbye, Pluto in Capricorn. And everyone with cardinal energy, so Aries, Libras, Cancers, and Capricorns will take a deep breath, because Pluto will be kind of, you know, releasing you from deep transformation and initiation. And Aquarians, Leos, Scorpios, and Taurus people may start, you know, getting ready for a couple of years of big transformation. So depending if you have any planets in any of those signs, you will experience Pluto either by conjunction or by opposition or by square. So yeah, that's interesting. If you need any help with astrological predictions in the sense of like where are your cycles in, you know, what can you like prepare for, please visit my website and just schedule a session. On 15th of November, Saturn stations direct. So Saturn is moving retrogradating right now, and Saturn representing sometimes challenges, sometimes, you know, limitations, confrontations, boundaries. It's going to station direct on 12 degrees Pisces in tropical astrology, and will move forward to enter, you know, 2025, move into Aries at some point, conjoin with Neptune. Big things are coming in 2025. But yeah, we will have the last wave of Saturn in the sign of Pisces. And on November 21st, Sun will move into Sagittarius, with, you know, that expansiveness of thinking, but also, you know, what are we passionate about, what do we want to put our arrow next into, what's our next goal. And with Sagittarius Sun, you know, there's always like this zest for adventure, for astral traveling, and for really figuring out what do we believe in, what's our mission is. And so I think it's quite interesting that like Uranus is retrograding for this whole month, Pluto is going direct this whole month, Chiron is retrograding this month, Venus is moving into Capricorn on November 11th, and she is actually at the end of the month also squaring Black Moon Lilith and squaring Chiron. So there might be some healing stories popping up for you around relationships or some feminine aspects of you. And let's just move briefly to the real sky, because it's quite interesting. So we are in the season of Scorpio, because we look at the vantage point from, you know, solstices and equinoxes, and how we kind of split ecliptic in 30 equal parts. But in the real sky, at the constellations that we can see at night, we are actually starting this month with the new moon in the constellation of Virgo, because Virgo is really huge. So at the end of Virgo, we still had this new moon activating stars of this particular energy. And it's a beautiful energy of healing. Virgo brings with itself, you know, high priestess vibes. So while we have tropically this new moon in Scorpio, in the season of Scorpio, you know, the stars of Virgo are adding a hue that I think it's really important, because this is from Julie Cuccia Watts. Again, this was from the Living Wheel Astrological Cards by Patrick. So here we have the goddess Hathor, and she is purifying the energy around herself and around the sacred temple with sistrum. So we have sound healing. She is smudging the energy as well. So she's bringing, you know, the purification of Virgo, which doesn't just mean be clean. She's purifying an energetic field. She's encouraging us through the new moon in the stars of Virgo to really make sure that our bodies are strong, that we also do some rituals protecting and cleansing and purifying our own energies, because the Scorpio earthly happenings, the intensity, it's it's big, right? So we need to stay in our core, in our center, and be mindful of who we share our energies with, how we can, you know, regroup and retrieve our energy back to ourselves. And I think with sound, with any rituals that work for you, this is a perfect advice from the stars of Virgo for beginning of this month. And the full moon will happen also in the stars of Taurus, but the sun won't be in Scorpio. The sun will be actually in the constellation of Libra, which is interesting because the sun moves into Libra this month, and then also on November 23rd, it will move into the stars of Scorpio. So we still have some, like, the advice is to, like, you know, shine and like bring in balance into focus until November 23rd, when it's really, really important. And then we have that big transformative healing and balancing of Scorpio, which together with later on bringing also the Ophiuchus through, you know, it's really about transforming the poison into healing. So be mindful of reactiveness, be mindful of being, you know, split into halves, bring all these difficult emotions to like make sure they won't like drown you. Don't drown in negativity. Use this energy with this Pluto-Mars opposition. Get the strength of Pluto to transform your personal ego and to empower your personal ego to know who you are and what you want and how you can fit in and, you know, somehow manipulate and protect or empower your energy to fit with these huge collective cycles that are happening. So through tropical astrology, we in the season of Scorpio moving into Sagittarius, through True Sidereal, we get that advice from the stars, you know, to develop discernment, to develop that ritual approach and protecting and empowering our personal energy and energy of our spaces, of people we hang out in, and then having the balance, you know, with Libra and being able to create as much balanced behavior as possible before we move into Scorpio on 23rd of November, where we can also experience and transmute whatever, you know, deep emotional patterns we will be faced with. And a few, go back. Mercury in True Sidereal, real Sky Astrology, will actually go back, go retrograde in the stars of Ophiuchus. So not only, you know, Sun will be in Scorpio, asking us to shed the light on some dark spots and work with the shadow, but also Mercury in the sign of Ophiuchus will ask us to, you know, transmute that poison into healing. So not bogged down to our weaknesses, to our fears, to our anger, but work with these energies and allow ourselves in some way to transmute it and behave a little bit differently, even if it's just small steps, you know. So it's quite interesting, I think, because with Mercury going retro in this tropical sign of Sagittarius, we have the you know, the energy of the fighter, and we have the energy of this transformer, the healer. So tropical astrology will show us, like, most likely what's going to be happening on Earth. So there might be a lot of preaching going on, and this is what we have to do. We have to give birth to our own empowered thinking in relation to what's happening, you know, on earthly plane here. So I hope that was interesting. For personalized astrology reading, once again, visit tarotmap.com. Please subscribe, like. I would love to hear your comments. You know, it always helps me to get my videos out there. So if you like my videos and you never comment, I encourage you to just at least say thank you. And I speak to you soon. Bye.